My name is Lindsey Anderson. I am the chairman of the MIT Sloan CIO Symposium, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you all here tonight. This is the MIT Sloan CIO Leadership Award dinner. We are gathered here for a great view, some great food and drink, networking, and most importantly, to honor 4 outstanding CIOs. But first, I'd like to thank everyone who's made the symposium possible. What differentiates the symposium from other IT conferences? And I am learning that I need to sit right here in front of the mic. I cannot move my head. What differentiates the symposium from other conferences? It is the only conference that brings together the academic thought leadership of MIT with the global international experience of leading CIOs and industry experts. Second, it is the only major conference of its kind on a large academic campus. And third, it is the only conference of its size and caliber that is run by volunteers. So all the volunteers, I'd like you to raise your hand. Thank you very much. The dinner and the symposium would not be possible without the support of the MIT Sloan Boston Alumni Association. I'd like to thank them, and all board members, please raise your hands. What would the symposium be without our academic thought leaders? We'd like to thank the MIT Initiative on the Digital Economy and the MIT Center for Information Systems Research for the great thought leadership you bring to the symposium. And I also like to thank our speakers for bringing their insights and war stories to the symposium. You are what makes the symposium special. Thank you. And I also like to thank our sponsors, because without their financial support and the industry expertise they bring to the symposium, we would not be able to put on this event. Specifically, I'd like to thank Diamond sponsors CAST and the partnership with Chrome, between Chrome Cloud and also Chrome, Google Chrome Enterprise, and I should have said Google Cloud as opposed to Chrome Cloud. My apologies. And Platinum sponsors Equinix and McKinsey Digital. Our gold sponsors, Adobe, Avanade, Clevertech, Fuse, Korn Ferry, Macrie Group, MicroStrategy, QuickBase, RSM, Russell Reynolds, Strongbow Consulting Group, and Trace3. And finally, our bronze sponsor, the MIT Sloan Executive Education. Each of our sponsors have great insights in innovation, and I strongly encourage you all to visit their booths and tables during the symposium. Now let me circle back to, and yes, you've got to be right in front of the mic. Now let me circle back to the purpose of this evening, honoring the 4 exceptional CIOs. I'll start by introducing my partner in crime, George Westerman. George is a principal research scientist at the MIT Initiative on the Digital Economy and co-chair of the MIT, I still need to be close, of the MIT Sloan CIO Leadership Award team. The award criteria is derived from the real business of IT, how CIOs create and communicate value, which was co-authored by George. George is also the co-author, along with Andy Macrie, of Leading Digital, Turning Technology into Business Transformation. George will be doing double duty tomorrow. He will be leading a panel discussion of all our award finalists, as well as moderating a panel on creating digital cultures. Without further ado, George Westerman.
Thanks, Lindsey. Wow, you really do need to be close on this thing. Thanks, Lindsey, and thanks everybody for being here and for all the things that you've done. It's my honor to introduce the award finalists and eventually the award winner in our process. This is a process we've been doing for about 10 years now, and it's really one of the most fun things that we do. Also a lot of work, but one of the most fun things we do every year. Ray Chang and I are the co-chairs of this award, and we try to, our skills kind of complement to make sure this thing works well with the volunteers and with all the people that apply for the award every year. So I just want to walk you through what the award process is like and then introduce you to the finalists. So what we do is we get a large number of requests every year in as nominees for these awards, and then we need to narrow that down to a small set and then a set of finalists, and eventually to the winner. And so we go through 3 rounds. In the first round, we have people read and follow a rubric and just rate a large number of CIOs so we can make sense of this massive people that have applied. And so if those of you who are round 1 judges, can you just raise your hands here? So, so some of them are here, a lot of them are not here, but we really appreciate all the work they do. We then do something that one of my most fun meetings of the year. Past finalists of the award get to choose the finalists for this year. And so rather than having a bunch of us volunteers or researchers do this, we have people who really know what they're doing, and they choose who the finalists are going to be. So any of the award winners, any of the past finalists who were round 2 judges here? Dieter? Okay. I also want to acknowledge another round 2 judge, Mike over there, who's actually the guy with the foresight to develop this award. He was a founder of it, and he's been with it every year. We're the 10th year now? 11th year now. So that's great. We then have once the finalists get down, we get narrowed down to 10 and then to 4. We then interview each of the 4 finalists and try to decide who the winner would be. And that's a process of spending an hour with each finalist. I'll introduce the finalists in a minute, but the award committee for that round, if you could raise your hands. So Irving, Ray, me, and Lindsey, where are you? He's hiding. Okay. He's not listening to me. Do you see that? It's always that way. And then we get the honor or the difficulty. This year it was absolutely a difficulty to choose a winner out of the process. So let me just introduce the finalists, and if you can each come after I introduce you, and we can give you a little plaque for your finalist award. And Ray will hand that out. So first of all, Akash Khurana. Akash is the VP, the Chief Information Officer, and CDO, Chief Digital Officer for McDermott International. And if you're like me, you have no idea what McDermott International does, but when you find out what they do, it's actually really pretty cool. Imagine if you were building a house. You got your plumber and your electricians and all those people, but you need a general contractor to make this all work. What does McDermott do? They do that for oil rigs. So imagine how hard it is to build a house. Think about doing that for an oil rig. And so what Akash has done is not only change the way the IT organization has worked there, but he's starting to get them into the possibilities that digital can do for these large, complex situations, including this whole idea of a digital twin and what a digital twin would mean in an oil platform kind of environment. But you know, he was at GE before, and then he came here, where GE builds an engine and they know what's in there. He's got to do this digital twin stuff for legacy equipment that's been around for 50 years that his company didn't build all of it. So Akash, we're just really impressed by what you did. Come on up and let's get your finalist award. Great. Good. Sure. Next up is Mike Macrie. He's from Land O'Lakes. And I thought Land O'Lakes just did butter, but they do a lot more than that. Mike is in the agribusiness world, and it's amazing how many opportunities there are in agribusiness to use data in a different way, to use sensors in a different way. And so Mike and his group, after he fixed IT, they then said, what else can we do here? And one of the things they did is they started doing satellite imagery to say, if you are a farmer growing a field, can we get you down to every square meter in your field and make sense of what's happening there so we can give you good advice there? But they're moving even more now to saying every stalk is a sensor. So between the satellite work, between the clippings on the stalks, between the soil readings, everything else, they're getting to the point to be able to give individualized meter-by-meter advice to the farmers. One of the things that they did in their division was to take a distribution group. There was just a small distribution group. It's now the fastest growing part of the company, not only doing distribution, but actually consulting the farmers to how to increase their yields year on year, meter by meter. So Mike, come on up. Thank you. Next up is Harmeen Mehta from Bharti Airtel. And Bharti Airtel is something that most of us read case studies on in school, or we taught them in school, about how they built a really interesting model for growing very quickly to provide cellular service in India. But it's so much more interesting than that. And Harmeen has been a big part of making that happen. She was brought in to fix IT, and now she's doing more things. She has changed the entire culture of the organization to be faster and more agile and more innovative as they went along. She's taken half of the cost out of providing broadband service around India through technology uses, and now she's spearheading efforts to try to bring this opportunity to people who could never afford these before, both in India but also in Africa and others, including launching a bank out of their telecom firm. So Harmeen's done some really fantastic stuff, and we want to recognize you for being a finalist. And last but not least at all, and by the way, Ray, we got to change this around. I know you're a C and I'm a W, but this idea of going through the alphabet, all the people at the end of the alphabet goes last. It's just wrong. We're going to reverse this next time. Yeah, okay. Atefeh Riazi. Atefeh Riazi is the CIO at the UN. Actually, because it's the UN, I got to give you her title because it's one of those UN kinds of titles. She's the Assistant Secretary General and the CITO of the Information Technology Organization within the United Nations. So if you can pronounce that, you win, right? What Atefeh's been done really interesting stuff. Yes, she got the SAP implementation working right. Yes, she improved IT in the UN, but she didn't stop there. Atefeh is really very quickly getting to the idea that IT's influence should go to the business and beyond. So we are really proud of many CIOs who fix IT and then go on to help improve business value. What Atefeh is doing is not only fixing IT and improving business value, she's out to change the world with the things she's doing. She's in essence building something like Doctors Without Borders, but it'll be CIOs Without Borders, to go after the UN development goals. So some of the amazing things she's done are, one, these digital blue helmets who go off and solve cybersecurity problems around the world. But another is to engage volunteers who are not part of the UN in basically a series of giant hackathons, universities, nonprofits, interested people to solve the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. And so her influence is extending well beyond the UN and making big things happen. So Atefeh, where are you? Congratulations on being a finalist. Great. So, no, I've got the mic. You can't have it.
Are you going to do something after?
I was going to do an award, but
I did one public.
sure, yeah. Okay.
So I need to know that everyone in this room can keep a secret. You guys can keep a secret, right? Because there are spies among us. People want to leak. There are like CNN and major news. We're about to announce the winner of this year's award, but there's a press release going out tomorrow morning. So please do not I know how much tempting it is. You want to beat the, call the Boston Globe or the New Wall Street Journal. Please don't tell anyone. Keep a secret till tomorrow morning. Please, thank you so much. Yeah, and especially not social media. Thank you so much.
Do you see why this is a good team here? So I just want to say, before we announce the winner, I just want to say, it's really interesting to see the awards that have come in and to see the maturity and the improvement that's been going on in CIOs just in the time that we've been running the award program. It used to be that being just a great CIO was enough to win this award, and it is nowhere near now. Being a great CIO, running IT well, is just table stakes at this point. Every single one of these finalists has changed their business in major ways, things we never would have dreamed of IT people doing 10 years ago, and now it's just becoming what we expect in the award. And I think, I've said it before and I'll say it again, there's never been a better time to be a great CIO, but there's never been a worse time to be an average CIO. We, for everybody that we know in the IT world, we need to help the IT world raise the stakes and really make business change like all these finalists are doing. So one more round of applause for all the finalists, please. And so now, the big moment. Drum roll. Okay, the winner of our MIT CIO Leadership Award for 2018 is Harmeen Mehta from Bharti Airtel.
Actually, I didn't expect this. I was actually almost wanting not to come because we just closed a Telenor merger 4 days ago, and my CEO was looking at me saying, "Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure?" And twice actually I told him I think I'm going to cancel, but in the end he wanted me to come. But thank you very much, and I must say when I read through all the bios of the 3 people that I'm with, I never ever thought that. I think I read through the last few years as well. And every time I was saying that, what is the pattern? So who wins? What is the thinking? And this time I realized that everything I did on my data mining, it applied to all 4 of us. So there went my theory. But thank you very much. And actually, I want to say this is for every single team that I have ever worked with, and every single company that I've ever worked with. And I think life is just a summary of your experiences, and all of those have really culminated in this. So I'm deeply, deeply honored. I've had the fortune of living actually in 11 countries, so it's a truly international award. I worked across 30, so it doesn't get more international than this. So I have lots of countries and lots of people to thank, because they've shaped me to be who I am today, and hopefully I have many more years to come as well. So thank you very much again. And I want to congratulate my peers as well.